All right. We got a little snow last night, enough to coat the car, but it's already melting. So that's good. I did watch Nancy Pelosi last night uh, before I went to bed, and she's talking about the government passing it federally cannabis, and she said most of the states already have. Um, so that'll be good, and and it'll be just like their alcohol that they sell. You'll have to be legal age. You can't be uh, uh, getting half baked driving around just like alcohol. You know, um, and I think it would help, and then the government can do it, meaning the government will make sure it's tested. Everything is there ain't no pesticides in it. There ain't no you know other stuff that they uh, lace it with or anything. So that's good. I would vote for that. Yes. And I think it's only fair because how long have they, passed alcohol? And the federal government gets a tax put on alcohol, and they get a piece of that. So I do agree with Nancy Pelosi on that. They should, uh, and concentrate on the heavy drugs and not this cannabis crap. There ain't people, uh, uh, you know, flipping out over the cannabis. It's well, and I shouldn't say that. Maybe people are. Everybody has a different chemical reaction to things, but they should. Alcohol is legal. They should go ahead and pass it. It's really not what they said it was. Hallucinogenic and all that. It's just not that. No, and they got to make sure that they do it right. It's got to be tested. Make sure that if well, they would have to grow it themselves, and that's the only way to make sure you're getting what you're getting, or test it to make sure it's not synthetic. And that's probably what's making these people flip out is the synthetic created cannabis. I wouldn't doubt it. It probably ain't regular cannabis. It's probably this synthetic stuff that they make or whatever. So, you know, I would say, yeah, you know, and she's right. Most of the states have already passed it, and it's legal, and that has cut down on a lot. Plus, it's been helping their communities uh, big time. They've been pumping the money back into the society and the roads and the schools and I would. It can't hurt. They got people getting harassed for cannabis and thrown in jail or fined or threatened that everything will be taken from them. And they didn't do that when they passed alcohol. Alcohol make you do stupid things. Um, so yeah, I would, and a lot of people are upset in Indiana because a lot of these people could be getting medical cannabis to help them with their problems. And these people, from what I talked to, well, they got to go to the other states, Illinois, down south, to Ohio, up into Michigan, because you know they legalized it in all these states around us, but Indiana they haven't. So, but they did change the law that you're allowed, I don't know, a couple grams or something before it becomes a felon or some kind of. I guess it's just like it's nothing. You get a ticket, you got to pay the fine. So there's no jail time. That's good, but If I was Indiana, would I go ahead and legalize it? Yeah, sure. And do it just like the rest of these states are. Make sure the cannabis is tested and make sure that you got to be a certain age uh, to get it. You got to be 21, you know, just like alcohol. And I'm telling you, I took a ride up into Pure, Michigan one day to the antique stores up there. And the road was the first time I went, they had the road blocked off to the antique store that I wanted to get to. So I had to take a reroute, but they were working on other roads too that were beautiful up there. But then the next time I went up there, because I look at these, I look for certain stuff, posters, uh, lights, uh, antique stuff, collectible stuff, music stuff. So the next time I went up there, they had 49 paved. It was like glass. And it's beautiful country up there, a lot of hills and everything. And like I said, Indiana up north here is beautiful. Trees, the lakes. You get down south and it's all pretty much cornfields and where they farm and everything. So yeah, I would, and it would help these people probably. Maybe it won't help them, but it can't do no more damage than what they did when they legalized alcohol back way back, and all they did was put a tax on it, and they were happy with that because alcohol brings in a lot of money for the government, a lot of money. So, and I imagine cannabis will, and at least I think it will. My opinion, it probably will help this state out. And the jails are so overfilled from petty cannabis crimes, it's unreal. As it really, the jails should be for stone cold killers that have been caught numerous times of repeating the same crime over and over again. So I'd vote yes on that. What's the worst thing to happen if it don't work out? They make it illegal again. You know, but I do think Nancy Pelosi was on the right track with that, and I don't agree too much with politics or whatever, but um, I think it probably would help people. And you know what? They might be able to ease the pain for some of these people without using pharmaceutical pills. Maybe both of them could help. You know, you don't know. Maybe a combination between their medication and the CBD cannabis, or could help. Maybe I don't know, but yeah, I would vote on that. Making it federally, meaning it's legal, but you gotta be respectable and you gotta be of age, and it's like a weapon. You gotta be very careful when you're around a weapon. And it's the same thing with cannabis. You have to be, don't try a lot of it. Just, you eat one gummy or whatever, gummy bear or whatever it is, or take a couple hits off of the cannabis and wait, see how you feel. You know, if you don't like it, then you call the place and you tell them, hey, this stuff didn't seem right. Do you have something? No, they got a whole category. I've been doing a lot of research on it. I even gone to these places. The antique place in Michigan, up there in Camden, and uh, it's surrounded by like three antique stores, and then they have two or three cannabis stores. So I was up there one day, and just for the heck of it, I'm like, I want to check it out and see what it's all about. If it's really like walking into a pharmacy, like a professional place, and it was. They had gloves on and everything, and testing all the cannabis in one room, to make sure it was not contaminated with anything. It was real professional, and the only thing I see is I would like to see an armed guard there. That's what I would like to see. I've been into a couple of these places, and they were very respectable. It was really nice. Everybody was really cool, really nice and polite. And it was like going to the pharmacy and getting your prescription filled. And yeah, it was very relaxing, you know. And yes, when you first walk in there, it does smell like cannabis, and there ain't nobody smoking it in there. It just from the flower and the product. So I would vote yes. The only thing is I would like to see an armed guard at these facilities. That's all I would like to see. If they're going to do this, do it right, because you know people are not right. We know that. And people would want to try, and they've had a couple altercations at cannabis stores where people just came in and tried to rob them or whatever. So I would like to see an armed officer there, maybe undercover or whatever, but if they're going to do it, they got to do it right. And some of these places bring in big dollars. A day, we're talking like $300,000 a day, 250,000 a day, or whatever it is. Big money somewhere in that area. I believe I was reading that a day, that's big money. So I would vote yes to that. Making it federally legal. And let me tell you, that would take the pressure off of having to lock these people up for a dang doobie. When we got people walking into stores, buying all kinds of alcohol and getting totally smashed, and then they're, doing crazy stuff. But that's just my opinion on it. Would I vote for it? Yes. Yeah, I've been a cannabis supporter for a while. Uh, you know, Once it started coming out and people were like, well, it helps me with this and that, I started doing research on it. And yeah, they got, what do they give people that have glaucoma? Well, cannabis pills or flower to smoke. And they've been using it with people that have seizures and Alzheimer's. And it actually worked. I was kind of shocked. But what my questions was, is this real? Is it really doing that? And that person that had Alzheimer's couldn't stop shaking, but once they smoked the cannabis, they stopped shaking, you know, and were able to come out of their thing and walk around. If it's real, I support it. I support it 100%. It's a no-brainer. If and the government would come and get a piece of that money too. So the states are getting a piece of it, just like alcohol, and the federal government is getting a piece of it, and they can also give out vouchers when times are bad. Here you get a free uh, so much cannabis a month or whatever if people are on Medicaid or Medicare or whatever. And I think it's a good idea. Back in the day, they used to grow cannabis in America. That was the main crop, was cannabis. They used it for everything: paper, clothes, you name it. Uh, they made tea out of it. So would I support that? Yes, yes. Now we did this. I went ahead and did the thing myself, researching it and everything. And like I said, I even went to a couple places. I even bought a T-shirt. I'm a T-shirt dude. I bought a T-shirt from the books. Although I haven't been up in Camden in a while, where I bought the T-shirt, but I think it was a tea tree or something, or not tea tree. Something Treology or something. I don't know. Green Tree, it might have been. But I bought one of their T-shirts. You know. So, but yeah, I went in there and checked it out and seen what it was all about. They even got edibles like honey sticks and stuff like that. And they sell that stuff at the gas stations out here. Um, Honey stick, CBD, cannabis. They even sell in Indiana, I believe, right on the border here, Michigan and Indiana. Uh, Cannabis CBD flower, I think. So, you know, I don't know. Some people can't smoke it. You know, I agree. Some people shouldn't if they have a precondition or whatever. But if the government gets involved, then it'll be like going to a doctor. Uh, you'll go in and uh, tell them your symptoms or your conditions, and then the people will the well, they call them bud tenders, but if they had actually a cannabis specialist there, then he would look on his list and say, "Oh, you want uh, uh, stinky feet indica or whatever the name of it is." You know that'll help with this problem. You know, and then I mean, this could be uh, something good for the people, but only if it's real. Only if all the studies that we looked at are real. Do I think cannabis causes psychosis? I don't think so. Me, myself, I've known people that have smoked cannabis for 50, 60 years. And they're some of the calmest people and normal people. So I don't think it was what they said it was, some kind of a class 3. It's actually labeled up there with LSD. And I just don't think it is. I never smoked it when I was younger and flipped out and seen anything. It's just, I think what they were trying to do was do certain things at that time with alcohol and stuff. So what they did was, being that they were having such trouble with the alcohol, they went ahead and automatically uh, illegalized uh, cannabis. So, you know, they could deal with the alcohol situation or whatever. But I would vote for that. Uh, Federally, yeah, they're missing out on money. They don't understand. You know? um, but like I said, they would have to test it. They would have to make sure, and if they don't grow it themselves and know what's in it, then they would have to test everything they purchase from these uh, growers to make sure it's not laced with parasite or uh, LSD or any kind of hallucinogen. And they do that. Some of these clubs or whatever, they they lace the cannabis and sell it, and it's laced with PCP. Next thing you know, people are climbing trees, and then they do something stupid, and then the police confiscate it, or they test the person's blood, and they got PCP in their system, and people are like, I don't do PCP, and they were lacing the cannabis with it. So this could be something good. It could be a money maker for the federal government, which the states have already come out and said it's a money maker. And I thought it would, just like when alcohol was became legal again. It was a money maker, So if it can help the people, if it can help the citizens, and the towns and the schools and whatever, I vote yes for it. But like I said, just like Nancy Pelosi said, most of the states have already legalized it. So they're making money off of it. And I think the federal government is starting to see, well, wait a minute. They're bringing in a lot of money, and they are. But it's got to be professional. It's got to be professional. You can't have gangs running it. You can't have a gang be running it. It's got to be professional. Professional people. And that's what it's got to be. You can't have people in there. You got to have cameras. You got to make sure your clients are satisfied, and you also got to make sure the people you hire ain't robbing you blind. So they're going to need cameras, and I would have a guard. I'm sorry, I would have a guard there. I would. With that kind of money and the product, I would have an armed guard there. Now, they might be using magic mushrooms to treat depression and stuff. I don't know. I haven't done no research on that. But the cannabis, I think it would help. And I think it could save a lot of our tax problems, and it could lower inflation, maybe. And then they could do like they did back in the olden days. Back in the olden days, that was the main crop, cannabis. And they would give people vouchers. You were allowed to have so much cannabis. It was like a food. They gave food vouchers out, much like SNAP today, or whatever it is that they're talking about. Whatever that card is that they gave people with money on it to buy food. They would give people vouchers. You're allowed so much cannabis a month or whatever from the government. They would give out vouchers or whatever. It could be something very interesting for the federal government. And I'll tell you what, the police love this because they don't have to go through all the bull crap of arresting anybody with a molecule of cannabis or a couple doobies. And it would untie our court system for people that really need to be going to court, that are, very, very, very bad people. So I would vote yes on it. Now, I got some things to do. And I'll talk to you guys later. No, they don't. They don't have armed guards at the dispensaries. Not all of them. Out where it's bad, like California, uh, they have armed guards there, and they should because that's a bad place. You know, they've had altercations at these places. But out here where I live, there ain't no armed guards because it's real mellow. There's cameras all over. You can't even get behind the door. Uh, and I would like to change that. I would like to put the door button behind that area. And the only reason I say that is because if someone did come in to try and steal what they had, they wouldn't be able to uh, take the person that's behind the counter where the button is to let them into the facility. They should be watching through a camera. So when their name gets called to go in the back to pick up uh, their medication, there should be someone. There should be that button should be where no one could get to it, and somebody pushes the button from behind them doors to let people in. Because I don't know, why am I thinking this way? Because I'm trying to make it more safe for the dispensary and the clients that go there. I've been to a couple places where they buzz you in behind the counter. When you first walk in, they take your name and all that. And when it's your turn to go in there and look at what they have, T-shirts, cannabis, gummy bears, all kinds of stuff. Uh, she pushes a button and they go in. But I think that button should be moved in case someone did come in uh, and try and rob the place. They can't get behind the doors. You know, they can't get behind there because there's no button. They're electronic doors, you know, ran by electronic lock. So that would make it a lot safer. And an armed guard sitting outside, well, that would make it a lot safer too. But out here, they don't have armed guards. Camden is right across the street from the police office. The cannabis stores. There's like 4 antique stores, and then there's like 3 cannabis stores. But the police department is right across the street from it. But an armed guard, that would be cool too. Just in case somebody got out of hand, just in case somebody tried to rip them off. So, all right, I got things to do. You guys have a great day. Be safe. Uh, everyone, bendejo, everybody be safe. And I'll talk to you guys another time.